guys, Bite-Sized Bible in a Year, chronological edition for April 2nd. We read Judges 7 through 9:21. So remember yesterday, we talked about one of the coolest things about God, and that is that he uses the most unlikely people to do his will. And that's great news for us, right? Because we all know ourselves very well, and we know that we're just normal, regular people. But that's great because those are the people that God uses. I'm going to piggyback off that today, and I'm going to talk about 3 qualities of a person who's being used effectively by God. I'm going to talk about that through the story of Gideon. So in chapter 7, we see that Gideon is leading an army of 22,000 to go defeat the Midianite army and deliver Israel from them. The Midianite army is huge. And God is saying, okay, Gideon, that's hard. There's Midian, Gideon. Gideon is leading 22,000 people to go fight them. And God says, we need to dwindle it down. He dwindles down his army to 300 people. And that is who God uses to deliver Israel. And it's a great picture of what God does for us. He shows us our weaknesses. Here, Gideon knows that his army is way smaller. And without God, they cannot do anything. It's the same for us. God will show us our weaknesses. God may even handicap us to a point where we know that if God doesn't come through, it's not going to be great. For me, that came in the form of, I started writing in 2007. I wrote a blog. I had some articles out there, and then all of a sudden I had nothing to say. I would read the Bible, and it was like, okay, but nothing really to say. And that went on for years. And then one day God turned the spigot back on, and I started really seeing cool things that, again, I wanted to write about. And it's as if God was saying, Misty, the reason you can write and the reason you can teach or have anything to say is because I give it to you. Don't forget that. God is going to do that because God needs to get the glory. He's the one that saves people. And so the first quality that I want to talk about, or that sums all that up, is humility. People who are being used effectively for God, God is going to humble them. They're gonna have to be humble. Okay, number 2, you're gonna have feelings. People who are being used by God have feelings. Gideon got afraid right before it was time to go in there and defeat the army, remember? And God said, okay, go down there and listen. And one of the soldiers talks about this dream of bread that rolls in and knocks down all the tents, bread being symbolic of the starving Israelites, the tents being symbolic of the Midianites because they were a nomadic people. And then one of the guys says, oh, that's got to be Gideon and his army. That emboldened Gideon, and then he was ready to go and defeat. God did not say, suck it up, Gideon, get it together, giddy up, let's go. No, he said, okay, these are your feelings, let me help you. You are going to have feelings. Feelings are not bad, but people who are being effectively used by God, take those feelings to God and let God deal with them. Humble, feelings. And the third quality that a person has who is being effectively led or used by Christ is they are human. Human. We see in chapter 8, that Gideon takes some gold and makes an ephod, which is an article of clothing that the priests would wear, and then it later becomes an idol, and it's a trap for Gideon. Guys, it doesn't matter how powerful or how effective or successful a person gets, they are never, falling is never beyond them. Falling is never beyond us. Failure is never beyond us. We're going to fail, maybe not like this, hopefully. But we have to know that we're never going to get to a place where we are so holy that we don't have to worry about temptation or we don't have to worry about falling. We need to keep watch, okay? So we're going to be humble. We're going to have feelings, and we're going to be human. Effective leaders are human. We just need to keep watch. All right, and then after this, in chapter 9, we see the rise of Abimelech, and we will see more of that story tomorrow, so I'm not even going to talk about it today. We'll talk about it tomorrow. All right, tomorrow, or today actually, April 3rd's reading is Judges 9:22 through 11:28. We will talk about that tomorrow. Talk to you then.